This one's going to be, oh my God. I always, yes, I do. I start with a chuckle. I don't know what it is, but, I guess that's okay. This is sad. This is sad. But I'm going to talk about this picture and the next one about the love of my life, the sweetest girl in my life, my baby girl Tess. You know, this, as it turns out, was a year ago. I wasn't even thinking about it, but again, it popped up in my OneDrive memories, and here I am. Tess and I were invited to Bob and Diane's house for his birthday, his annual birthday celebration, which is always nice, always a lot of people, and it's always just a great thing. It's a great experience. I'm trying to think though. I'm pretty sure Tess did not come. Anyway, it really kind of doesn't matter. The main thing here is that Tess and I went to Bob's birthday party, and Bob knew that she was, had some difficulty in walking and so forth. We had finally started using a cane, and between the two of us, we both were kind of unstable. And so he gave us this little parking space. It was so thoughtful and so nice. And, so we parked there and we felt honored and everything. And then we walked up the driveway and into his home, and happy birthday, Bob. And Bob and Diane are just the sweetest people and the greatest hosts. And so there we were. And, it seems like a small thing, but it was a big thing because Tess stopped going out. She just wouldn't go out places, and she would have reasons and so forth. And then we negotiated these things because I wanted to be able to stay friends with people. I didn't want to say no all the time. And so we got to a point where I'd say, okay, sweetheart, I'll go, and I'll just say, you weren't up for it or whatever. And, but I'll stay for a little while and just say hello, and then I'll leave, and that'll be okay. And so, we accommodated each other that way. And then, of course, when I got home, I could spill the tea with Tess. I could tell her who said what to who and how it went, whatever. And it was great. And, kind of got used to doing things that way. And I did a lot of things that way. And, I would go up to the Arboretum and I'd go do my usual thing, take Zeke for a walk or go hike with Chip or go hike with Bob with, well, we did do some hiking, but anyway, with John and Dave. The point of it is Tessie, got weaker through the years and got more, and she would be very resentful of this statement, but more antisocial. And we tried to kind of tease her through it. I'm not antisocial. I am not antisocial. I said, okay, honey, you're anti-socializing. You don't like to socialize with people. And, she would say something like, a little bit goes a long way. And I understand that much more now than ever. But anyway, the point, and I'm not a socialite, that's the joke of it, but we have good friends here, and I just wanted to maintain our friendships. And so did they. So did they. They really reached out to Tess, and that's a different story. But this day, we went to Bob's, and I'm going to flip to the next picture of Tess sitting with June. And June, apparently saw my camera pick up and gave me the big smile, which was great. But Tess was just smiling, looking across, talking to whomever she was talking to. This is a beautiful picture of Tess. And she wouldn't let me take her picture for a couple of years, where she would always raise her hand up and block it and get angry. And so, at first you try to tease her out of it. Oh, come on, honey, or just take your picture. You're bringing more attention to yourself by doing it this way. And so, you try to maybe argue her down or whatever. But, after a while, I just stopped because I realized if she doesn't want her picture taken, then don't take her picture. And, I ran into a person, a woman, at an event the other day where we were building birdhouses, and we worked together and we were talking, and it was good. We were getting along fine. And then, they were going to take class pictures and everything. And so we all kind of went over to that area to take our picture. Well, she didn't want to go. She didn't want to get her picture taken. And, I had learned the lesson and I didn't encourage her. I didn't say anything. I didn't say yay or nay or anything. I just let her make her own decision. And I think that's an important lesson I'm trying to learn. And, I can tend to be obnoxious and then I'll kind of try to joke my way through it because I take a lot of pictures. Some people are okay with that, some people aren't. Lauren, our daughter, loves her picture taken, and she's learned through the years since a baby. She sees a camera, she smiles at it. And she's a beautiful girl and takes beautiful pictures. And Tess is a beautiful girl, but she got where she didn't want pictures of her. And so, that was just one of our things that I learned to say or do the right thing and not push it. But anyway, here we are sitting in Bob's living room. And, she's got her little red cane. And, like I said, I got a cane because of my back surgery. And then she started getting more unstable and having difficulties. And I said, honey, just use the cane, to help, with your feeling more stable, more secure when you're walking. And, so she did a little bit here and there. And like I told her, it's not something you just grab a cane and you can do it. It takes a little practice, it takes a little work. See, I was always trying to be helpful. I was always trying to, be supportive from my own definition of what that is. And, she would accept it sometimes, and many times she wouldn't, or, she would set her own parameters. And I think that's the thing about loving somebody. You have to let them be themselves. Even if you think you might know better or mean better. That was another thing we would argue about. She'd say, I know you mean well. I know you mean well. And, or sometimes she'd misinterpret something I said. I don't know if it'll come to my mind, but, the joke between us was like, I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that way. And I'd say to her, but that's true. I didn't mean it that way. Because she put a negative spin on whatever it was. And I'd say, I didn't mean it that way. And so that kind of became a joke between us. But thank you, God. This was... I mean, it's just hitting me because they date these pictures. They don't pop up arbitrarily. They pop up on the day a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And I had to double check. This was last year. This was March of last year. This was just 1 month. Almost to the day. She passed away on April 18th. You would never know that sitting there, taking this picture. You didn't know. Sometimes you say, thank God you didn't know. Because Tess had cancer. She had cancer all through her body. People say, what kind of cancer was it? I don't mean to be mean, but it's the kind of cancer that kills you. We didn't know. We didn't know. I suspect she did know something much deeper was going on than what she, led on to, because she, we started arguing about that she was going to get her blood test. And Peter, they can't do anything without a blood test. They need to do the blood test. And so, I expedited that, and she got angry about that. But I mean, that was only weeks later after this picture. And we stayed, and I'm trying to remember parts of that day. I do remember I got her situated, got her in a seat over there, and then I was basically going back and forth to the table to bring her a little snack. Would you like a little of this? Would you like a little of that? Or wine? She would drink wine. Sometimes she would, and sometimes she wouldn't. But that was always kind of a safe bet. They didn't have what do you call it? Tom Collins. What was it? Gin and tonic. They didn't have like that. So I think that's maybe her glass of white wine there. She was just being polite. But you offer people food because you want to be nice. That's what you do. And she would always say, I don't want anything. I don't want anything to eat. And that went on for years, I guess. I don't know, because when we would go out with people, she wouldn't order anything, or she wouldn't want anything. And they'd say, well, what's the problem? Can we do this, or can we make that? Can we do something? She didn't want anybody doing anything special. She didn't want anybody doing anything special, going out of their way. She just wasn't hungry. She just didn't want to eat. And, you know, she didn't want to go out in the morning. She didn't want to go hiking with the girls and do different things that they would invite her to do. And it wasn't that she didn't care about them or like them. She just, now I know, she just didn't. She just didn't have the strength to do it. I'd go through the house, other things we'd get in trouble for. I'd come in from hiking or biking or whatever, and I'd just kind of swoop in and go fill the dog bowl, with water. And she'd say, Peter, he just got water. I just gave him water. And I'd say, that's okay. I'm just giving him, some fresh water. And she said, Peter, there's no need to do that. I just gave him some water. And so once in a while, I'd back off and say, okay, all right. And then once in a while, I remember specifically saying, just push it through. Tess, I'm giving him water. Stop. I'm just going to give him some water. Don't make a big deal about it. So I'd give him the water. And what I know now, and didn't realize, was she needed to feel her purpose, her value, her input. It wasn't that I should or shouldn't give him water. It's that she said, I took care of him. I took care of my baby boy. You don't need to double up. You don't need to do that. Because now I'm realizing that maybe took away from how she felt about her own purpose and value. And I could be wrong. I don't know. Feeling pretty emotional right now. But, I'd go through the house and things, like I said, I'd tiptoe around. I didn't want to disturb her. So I didn't, if I just grabbed the vacuum and vacuum stuff up. And then she didn't want me to do that. Don't do that. Or, it's too loud, or it's this or that. So I'd kind of find myself sneaking around to kind of vacuum or do stuff. And then I remember I would see she'd have let's say the broom or something, and it would be leaning up against the wall in one of the rooms. And I'd say, gosh, why is this sitting here like this? Oh my God, Peter. Now I realize she was trying to do stuff, but she didn't have the strength to complete it. So she'd leave it there as that was her effort. She'll get back to it. She'll get back to it later. I didn't realize that. I was like, well, I would just scoop it up and put it back or something. I just didn't realize, you just don't know everything when things are happening. And maybe it was denial. I guess who knows if it was. Because here we were. I encouraged her. I said, honey, let's go to Bob's birthday. Let's go to Bob's birthday. And this time she didn't fight me on it. This time she said, okay. And I was half amazed. And so we went. We parked in our little parking lot, or little parking space. And everybody loved her. And everybody loved seeing her and coming around her. And so there she sat in her little chair. She never got up and walked around. She just sat there, and I brought her stuff, and, she didn't eat it, and I'd bring it back, and, I'd say, do you want some of this? And, I knew, I'm not an idiot. I knew that she didn't have a strong appetite and different things. And so we stayed, though. We stayed at least an hour. And, June is a very sweet person. June and Eleanor are neighbors, and she was very sweet and very supportive. And, of course, Diane was, and Bob and other people that were there. And I know Joanna was there, Dave and Joanna, and they were nice with Tess. And I think, oh, I know this was after Carell had passed, and so I don't remember John if he was there, and if he was, because I don't know that she ever met Judy. So I just don't know. I don't have any group pictures from this day, but you know, it was a special day. I knew it was special then because, well, because we were going out together to a group gathering that we were avoiding that quite frequently. And, Bob, God bless him, I had surgery, and it was right up the road, but it was, how do I get there? How are we going to do this? And I was willing, I wanted to take an Uber and just go and get it done, and I'll take Uber. Oh, they wouldn't let you do that. You got to go with somebody that, knows you, who can be responsible for you. So, John offered, which we appreciate that. John offered, and I said, thank you, thank you. And I really kept that in mind. And then I thought that I could get Uber and just, bring Tess with us, and it would be Tess and I, she'd be responsible. We would use Uber to drive home, because I didn't know what kind of shape I was going to be in, and I was concerned about Tess driving. That was the main thing here. I was concerned about Tess driving. Well, ultimately we went, and just the two of us. And Tess was so adamant. She was so proud. Peter, I could drive up there. I could take care of you. I did it. I was good. And see, now I know how much more this means. Because, yeah, I mean, I knew she was getting weak about driving. Driving is tough. It's challenging. But, she did do it, and she was very, very proud of herself and very adamant about it. And I said, yes, honey, I know. You got it. You did it. You did a good job. And so all of that was good. So, like I said, going to Bob's. And then Bob, they wanted to come by and bring me food and be nice and all that good stuff. And I said, Bob, that's great, but just don't come by. I appreciate it, but just please don't come over. And I appreciate your thoughts and prayers, but don't come over with food or anything. Because Tess did not want people to come over. She loved her home. This was a puzzlement to me, because she would say that over and over. I love my home. I love my home. And she decorated it the way she wanted it. We got the furniture she wanted. And I would say, why don't we just have people over for a little while before we go out for dinner? But she said no, she didn't want to do that. She didn't want to do that. So we ultimately just didn't do it. And that's okay. I mean, now I don't want anybody to come over. I just don't feel like I'm a good host or something. I don't know what I think. But the point is, we had our day. And I think the point of me spouting off all this crap and I'm so emotional is because Tess was and is the love of my life. I don't want anybody else. I don't, how can I say it? I'm not discriminating against, love or anything of that nature. If I met somebody and I fell in love, then that would be something that happens. But I don't think about that. I don't want that. I'm completely consumed with our life and how we lived it. And I'm still learning from it. And, I'm not sitting around with my head up my ass and not doing anything or going anywhere or talking to people or can't function. I'm doing all that good stuff. I'm functioning as good or better than ever. But I say that on one level. But, I still love Tess. I love her. I love that she loved me. I love that we grew up together. And we developed our life together. And we learned from each other. And we fought like little dogs, like kind of like Zeke, and you don't mean anything by it. He's not going to grab your leg or anything, or with a bigger dog. But, we would argue about stuff. And, ironically, the stuff we argued about was the caretaking aspects, the going out with people aspects, the they were always kind of about good things or whatever. I don't know, but anyway, I thank God that I had her in my life, that we met when we met, the right time of our in our lives, and that we just fell madly in love. We fell crazy, madly in love and in lust, and we created Lauren, and and now Lauren's all grown up and having her own children, her own boys to take care of. She's the most devoted mother you could ever see. I really, to me, the energy and the love that she puts into her children is just amazing. And I'm like, wow, you couldn't ask for any more. And then she has a beautiful husband. I mean, they're beautiful people, handsome people, whatever. And, you know, like I said, looking at this movie Gabby, and thinking what can happen to your daughter when she meets somebody. And even if she's in love with the guy could turn out to be, a murderer. I mean, how bad can life get? But I am so damn lucky that they love each other, they care for each other, they fuss, I'm sure. But anyway, Tess and I created this. We did our best. We always did our best. And God bless her. I love her. And I'm looking back down at this picture because thank you, God, for being there, Tess. Now I'm thinking again. I think she may have left her glasses there because I'm looking at her. Is that her sunglasses on her head, forehead? Yeah, and that's how she would wear them. But whether she put them down or something, but somehow I kind of have a memory of a story there where maybe she left her glasses and I came back to get them, but or maybe we found them later. I don't know. But anyway, other than just being there and being so happy to be there, and now looking at this picture and bringing back those memories. Whew, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's all there really is to say. Thank you. All right, let's stop it for now.